Gentle John.
It's Gentle John.
I'm sorry, but Gentle John won't be joining us today. No, today it is just you and me. And we're gonna go over these conversations with God. Chapter 1, my way. This old, beat-up book has so many highlights, so many different phrases that supposedly speak to the soul. But it is nothing more than an old, beat-up book full of misinformation. And I'm going to go through some of these highlighted phrases, and I'm going to tell you the truth. Now let's look at this first phrase. The correct prayer is therefore never a prayer of supplication, but a prayer of gratitude. Thankfulness is thus the most powerful statement to God, an affirmation that even before you ask, I have answered. Therefore, never supplicate, appreciate. Sounds like a whole lot of fake it till you make it to me. And you're not a faker, are you? No, you're not a faker. So that's why this is nothing but a lie. This is asking you to be a faker, to pretend, to believe in something before it even happens. That's just not you. You are not a faker. You don't have to pretend. You live here, now. You see what is. The misery never goes away. And pretending that you don't feel pain, pretending that things are going to get better, doesn't do anything but lie to yourself. And you're not a liar, at least not to yourself. So you won't fake it till you make it. This says, all human actions are motivated at their deepest level by one of two emotions, fear or love. And this, I tell you, is true. Everything you do is out of fear or love. I live here in fear. Fear will protect you from rejection. Fear will protect you from emotional pain. Just stay here with me and don't act on your dreams. If you don't take any chances, you'll be safe. You'll live a nice, safe life. And I'll be right here with you in your mind, letting you know that living in fear is hell. But isn't it better to live in the hell that you know than the hell that you don't? Stay here in fear. Be paralyzed. And don't take action in your life. Do the routine over and over again because it's safe. Even if you hate it, even if it's killing you, do not change. Change takes too much bravery. Living in fear, you really don't need to be brave. Don't worry about changing the job or the relationship or chasing some dream. Accept your reality for what it is. Be afraid to change. Change is too much, too hard, and there's a possibility of getting hurt in some way. And we both know you don't want to hurt. So just stay here with me in the fear and never experience the actual hurt. Just the fear of it all the time for the rest of your life. Every prayer, every thought, every statement, every feeling is creative. Well, if this is true, and you have been living in fear, well then, you've just been creating more fear. With every thought of rejection, this would bring more rejection. With every thought of fear, this would bring more fear. So again, I think it says, fake it until you make it. It's saying that you should feel good before you feel good. And that is what leads to feeling good. That's ridiculous. It says that every time you have a thought or do a thing, you are telling the universe about yourself. That it's a statement of who you are. And that's not true. We both know you have to do all kinds of things that you don't want to do. And why would you create a world where you did things where you didn't want to do them? No, every thought and every prayer, everything that you do isn't creative at all. In fact, it probably means nothing. Your will for you is God's will for you. You are living the life the way you are living your life, and I have no preference in the matter. Well, God, that is pretty convenient. It sounds to me that God doesn't care what you suffer through. He doesn't care about right and wrong. God doesn't care about the hardships. God doesn't care about the joy. He only cares about you living, and he doesn't care how you live. And if you think of it that way, then why wouldn't you do the things that you want to do? Why would you continue to do things that you don't want to do? If this is your life and God doesn't care how you live it, why wouldn't you take control of your life and create it the way you want it to? Why wouldn't you do that? Because even if this is true, you're too scared to do that. You're too scared to make the right changes, to create your life on purpose. If God doesn't care how you're living, why wouldn't you live the best way you could? Fear. And if every thought is creative, and we know that fear is better than joy, fear is better than love, fear is safer. Fear is the hell that we know. and every thought is creative, then all we're doing is creating more fear. And that must be the life we want to live, in fear. If God doesn't care how we live, and we're choosing to live in fear, then that must be how we want to live. So why change it? Walk your own path. We are walking our path. This is our path. Struggle, hardship, depression, fear. This is the path I guess we have chosen. But at least misery loves company, because we will live in fear together, you and I. Because if you're going to walk the path of fear, well, I'm here to tell you I'm the path of fear. Loneliness, darkness, depression. That is the path of fear. And I'm glad that you're going to continue to choose to walk in fear with me. Yet, if you knew who you are, that you are the most magnificent, the most remarkable, the most splendid being God has ever created, you would never fear. Your whole world is fear. So obviously this does not apply to you. How could you be the most magnificent, most remarkable, most splendid being God has ever created if they only knew you? The only thing that you're the best at is being yourself. And if living in fear is any indication of who you are, we know that you're not a risk taker. We know you're afraid of change and adventure. We know you can't take control of your life, even if your heart is telling you to, because you are only good at being you. Your job on Earth, therefore, is not to learn, because you already know, but to remember who you are. For all of life exists as a tool of your own creation, and all of its events merely present themselves as opportunities for you to decide and be who you are. Well, then wouldn't that make us responsible for the things that happen in our life? It would mean that we're not just a victim of circumstances, but we would be creating our reality. What you see is what you get. Isn't that what they say? So if I see fear, if I see misery, I suppose that's what I am. But this says we have a choice. We could choose to see happiness. We could choose to see peace. We could choose to see joy. And where we don't see it, we could choose to create it. But it is definitely easier to do nothing, to create fear, to create reasons to not act. This says we have to have responsibility for our own lives. I'm sure you don't want to take responsibility for your life. Envy not success, nor pity failure, for you know not what is success or failure in the soul's reckoning. I think we can all agree that success is a big pile of money and power. That is what success is. It's not seeing any smiles. It's not seeing any hugs. It's not creating the world to be a better place. It's a pile of money. That is what success is. And that is what success is to everyone in the world. That is the only definition of success. I know you all agree. What is hell? It is the experience of the worst possible outcome of your choices, decisions, and creations. It is the natural consequence of any thought which denies me, or says no to who you are in relationship to me. Hell is where you go when you don't follow your heart, when you don't listen to that inner voice, when you don't act on your intuition, when you follow the path someone else says you must follow, but you don't feel it in your bones. You gotta go through hell. You gotta live your own life. When you're paralyzed by fear of rejection or mistakes or whatever it is you're paralyzed by fear of, that will be hell. Because your own inaction will create hell around you. Because in your heart, you know you could have done better, and yet you didn't. Hell is not making mistakes. Making mistakes is part of the journey. Fear of making mistakes can paralyze you, but making mistakes is part of the journey. When you don't follow your own heart, when you don't follow your own path, you begin to blame others for the mistakes that you knew you were going to make. You have to follow your path, even if it hurts someone else's feelings. You have one life to live. This is your life. Choose your path. Live your way. Or spend an eternity in hell with me. The choice is yours, of course. Now I'm hungry and need a snack, so I've decided to make this a two-parter. Yes. And you should be thankful. I bet you need a snack as well. Go get some sunlight and nourishment. Ponder some of the things we have talked about today. And remember that this is a book review and not to take it so seriously. I want you to consider your actions. I want you to live your life on purpose. So that way at the end of it, you can say that you lived your life your way. And if you do that, you won't go to hell. But if you live in fear and inaction, if you live scared of what might be, don't worry. I'll be next to you in misery. Now, go get a snack.